welcome back to Route 7 Railway. Right, this video is going to be about me trying to turn this layout into a DCC layout, but with the ability to switch it back at will very quickly to DC and vice versa. I think the locos run better on DCC, smoother at lower speeds. The options were not to bother. Some would say there's an argument for that. Another option is to build another layout that's DCC, and I just haven't got the space. I'm going to show you what I decided to do and what I decided to do it with. I used these little push-in connectors with a positive and negative on both sides, and I was going to use them making use of the existing 4 power supplies to the 4 DC loops that I've got here. So they're already in place and were in place before I scenicked it up. So there's 4 DC power supplies coming from the HM6000, which is here, going into the system. So what I did, I interrupted the DC power supply going into the 4 of them, going into the track, and I fitted one of these to each of the 4. I interrupted the DC power supply, and I made sure that the female side was on the, if you like, the input to the track side of the circuit. And I'll show you what I did in a second. Before I do that, I just want to thank everybody, because in the last week or so, I went over the 1,000 subscriber threshold, and I've got to say thank you for supporting my little channel and getting me over the 1,000 mark, which is a big milestone. Never thought I'd ever reach it. Like most of us small YouTubers, you never think you're going to reach this, but it took a while, but I'm not bothered. I'm really pleased that people are watching and messaging me with supportive comments, and it's great. And I do hope that my little videos do help or inspire anybody to do something similar. So thank you very much. What I'll do is I'll nip underneath here and I'll show you what I've done with these connectors on the existing DC layout. I'm hoping you're going to be able to see what I'm doing, because it's a nightmare to film this. Here you can see these are the 2 inputs to the lower 2 loops, and just over here are the inputs to the upper 2 loops. I've interrupted them and fitted one of these connectors to each of the circuits, with the female being on the input side to the track. In order to facilitate DCC, I've knocked myself up a very small DCC bus circuit. I think I've got some pictures, and I'll throw them pictures in. I'll show you it here. There you can see it starts there and finishes there. It's very small, and I've connected and made 4 DCC power supplies. On each of those 4 connectors, I've put, let's see if that's in focus, here you go. I'll put the male part of those push fit connectors on the end there. So when I disconnect the DC circuit, I'll pull them apart and just push in the DCC connector. And the reason this is marked up in red on the DC circuits, they're specific to each loop. So I've just put them in. That's one of the loops. So when I connect back up to DC, and put the right wire in. But with the DCC side, it doesn't matter which ones you connect up, because it's all a common power supply. Here we go. If I just resume here, and off that goes, and that's running on DC. There's the other one going on one of the bottom two loops. They are 3 DCC locos, and they're in a siding that's isolated from the track, from the main loops, by that set of points there. I normally wouldn't have them on the track if I was running DC, because if I made a mistake, it could cause all sorts of problems. It's only there for this demonstration, so I can switch easily without taking much time to put new locos on the track. So what I'll do now is I'll stop the DC, pull out the plugs, and switch over to DCC. Right, I'm disconnecting. This is how quick it would be. That's 1, 2, 3. Right, that's the DCC system set up. Right, they're off. Plug in the DCC power supply. This is only temporary at the moment. That's the DCC power supply coming in, and I've just plugged it in, but it's going through a Hornby Select. Okay, so the power is coming from a Hornby Select control box, and with the Hornby Select, I've fitted the dongle to it. I've got a non-HM7000 Scale 92, I think it is. Yes, sorry, Scale 92. The other 2 locos, the Deltic and my steamer, they are HM7000. So the HM7000 is powered up. It's showing one connected device, but that will be the dongle. Now the reason the Caerphilly Castle isn't showing as connected, it's because I've put them in a siding out the way, and the siding self-isolates when I switch the points. So if I switch the points over, the power, as you can see the red light on the buffer stop there, and that should mean that the Caerphilly Castle will go live, and you can see it there, it's gone live. And let's start it moving. At the moment I haven't got the sound on because I don't want it to interfere with me chatting right now, but I'll put some sound on later and have it running. So that's coming out, and it'll be on its way. I'm going to send that up onto the top loop to show you that that loop is working. Right, I've switched the point there, and that's going to send it up there, up the riser. You just see it under there on its way up. And the trees at the back there. Okay, so that's on the top loop, running perfectly fine. I'll bring out the Deltic. Oh no, what I'll do, I'll bring out the 92 and that'll show you that the dongle is working. Alter the points. So that's working through the dongle. It's a lovely loco there, Cura scale, fantastic. And that's just going to go onto the bottom loop. That's just proven to you that the DCC is working on both the upper and lower loops. With regard to this area here, this is the little goods yard area. That will get powered if I switch the point off the main track, and it'll bring power in here, but it won't be foolproof for all of those sidings. So what I might have to do, because it's reasonably easy here, is ignore that. That's a temporary DC wire. I'll put a dropper on here, or maybe two, so to make sure, like one on there and one on this one, to make sure that this whole area is powered up with DCC, and that'll be job done. But as you can see, it's great and it's working. I'll stop both of them and let's get the sound up and running. That's going on about 50%. Oh, I'm thinking that's a bit quick. Just slowed it down a bit. It's going to go into the tunnel, it's crossed over, it'll come out through here now. That's lovely. This is HM7000. Oh, wrong way. So here we have full DCC working on both the upper loops and the lower. What I'll do now, I will adjust the point. That creates an extended route which incorporates all the top and the bottom loops, just to show you that the whole layout is working properly. Okay, well, I consider that a great success. I've wired it up now so that I can switch from DC to DCC in about a minute, and vice versa. It only took me an hour or so to build a little DCC bus and connect up the relevant push-fit connectors. No problem. I utilised the existing 4 power supplies to the DC loops. I didn't have to do any wiring for the track, and everything's running really well, and I'm so pleased with it. So now I can use my sound chip DC locos and have fun with them, and when I need to, or when I want to, I can just take them off the track, switch over to DC and put my other stuff on. And over time, I'm sure more and more will become DCC, and that's where we're going at. But I'll always want to run DC at some point, because I want to keep my old locos going, rather than, because some of them I won't want to spend the money on switching them to DCC with chips and hard wiring and things like that. So there we are, a great success. I'm over the moon with it. And while I'm saying over the moon, I just want to thank you again for all those subscribers that have got me over the 1,000 threshold. I can't believe it, to be honest. It's great fun doing it. I should be filming more than I do and putting it and uploading. But to be honest, obviously sometimes it's inconvenient, but other times, to be honest, I'm a bit lazy and I don't do it. Other times I do film, but when I play it back to myself when I'm editing it, I often find that my filming is absolute rubbish and not worth actually putting together as a video. So I end up deleting it all and it goes to waste. And then you don't feel like doing it all over again, the same subject. But that's just me. I suppose a lot of us do that. We do a lot of filming and then realise it's just garbage and we don't put it up. I wish it was as good as some of the other YouTubers who just seem to be able to just put it up, put the video on and just bang away and get a video in like one take. I can't believe that, because when I put a camera on myself, I seem to lose the ability to string a sentence together, and I don't know why that is, but perhaps I'm overthinking what I'm trying to say. But I hope people get something out of this, and people with DC layouts, established DC layouts, can see that they can make a DCC layout with very little complicated work. So once again, thank you for everything, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye now.